Alan Lucy was adopted in 1978 by Philip and Margaret Lucy out of Uniontown, Alabama. But in the spring of 1985, Alan suddenly disappeared. Philip and Margaret reported that Alan had left for school that day but never returned. They mentioned recent trouble with Alan's behavior, and they speculated he had run away to find his parents in Florida. But Philip and Margaret's biological son, Jason Lucy, had a very different story about what had happened to Alan on the day of his disappearance. He described in great detail of an argument that had broken out between Alan and Philip in the kitchen that morning. He recounted seeing his brother lying still on the kitchen floor, lifeless, after Philip had lost his temper and punched him in the temple. He claimed he then watched his father take the body away, later emerging from beneath the crawl space of the front porch, covered in dirt, carrying a shovel. Even though he told everyone he could, including the local Perry County Police, his bizarre claims of what happened to his brother were ignored by the community that adored his father. After a brief investigation, it was determined Alan had run away to Florida to be with his biological parents, and the case went cold. But in October of 1993, there was a mysterious fire in the Lucy home. Luckily, Philip's insurance policy afforded him a check for the damage, and he quickly sold the antebellum mansion to a collector of historical residences. With the new owner, the house began extensive renovation to restore the home to its original state. But during the renovation process, 2 workers were called to the property to inspect for termites underneath the porch when they noticed a soft spot in the dirt beneath the crawl space. Just underneath a shallow layer of soil, they unearthed a pile of red bricks. Beneath the bricks, they found a plastic bag with the skeletal remains of Alan Lucy wrapped in his favorite Disney blanket. Ironically, Philip and Margaret were arrested just a week prior on charges of arson after it was determined they had set fire to the mansion to collect insurance money. While they were in custody, investigators questioned Jason, the now key witness to the murder. Almost immediately, Philip was indicted on the murder of Alan Lucy. Margaret was eventually allowed to return home to care for her children, but she soon after was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and died in the winter of 1998. It wasn't until 2001, after a series of appeals, when Philip was finally found guilty for the murder of Alan Lucy. He was sentenced to life in prison. But on the day after his sentencing, Philip hung himself in his jail cell with his own bed sheets. As for the mansion, renovation was abruptly halted after the discovery of Alan's death and has long since been abandoned. All right, here she is. It's definitely Greek Revival style architecture. It's like the entire front of the house is being held up by those columns that are barely hanging on. It's a pretty busy street, so I'm gonna get out of this yard and get on inside. I don't want to be seen. So we made it inside. I love this stairway when you first walk in the house. It looks like they got pretty far into the renovation process of the house, from what I can tell so far. This little library area. There's still books on the shelf. So a lot of this stuff is about home renovation, physics, painting. Time to see what's in the rest of this house. Yeah, they even painted all the crown molding, redid all the ceilings. They did a lot of work to this house. So you can tell there used to be a crack here. Well, there still is. A lot of these old houses just settle and they crack. I love the woodwork on the walls and the shelving that goes around the entire room. From what I can tell, I bet this was a dining room. And back in the day, they used to have like maybe vases, glassware, different types of decoration all on these shelves going around the entire room. There's so many windows in this place too. This place was definitely built before there was electricity in the house. This is where all the china would be. There's an earring. Makes you wonder how long that's been there. A pearl earring. I wish you guys could just like smell this place. It has like the classic abandoned musty smell, but also something else. I can't put a name on it. Okay, so here's the kitchen. This is where Alan was murdered. In this very room. Man, if these walls could talk, they would have quite a story to tell. It makes you question so much. Like, where at in this room did he do it? Which way did he carry the body out of the room? Where was his biological son when he witnessed the murder? Just wondering, maybe he dragged the body in here into the pantry area to buy him some time to figure out what he was going to do with the body before he finally decided to bury it under the porch. Looks like there's stuff still in the drawers. Sponges. All the sheetrock buckets are still here from the renovation that they were doing almost 30 years ago. Man, this house is beautiful. I love how the sun comes in like that from above. Storage closet. Ooh, this is an interesting bathroom. You know, I feel like this bathroom was an addition onto the house. I feel like maybe this used to be a window that looked outside and they replaced it with this pink stained glass window. A lot of these old houses are like that. A lot of old mansions were built like that. They weren't originally mansions. They were just small, humble homes. And then they just kept adding on. And over the years, they evolved into mansions. I love these double doors and these old doorknobs. So this is a room very similar to the one across the hall when you first walk in. Again, with shelving for reading. All right, let's see what's upstairs. So these stairs are very solid. They don't make any kind of creaking noises at all. It's a very well-built home. It's definitely stood the test of time and withstood a lot of water damage too. Wow, this is amazing. This place is very well ventilated. I mean, this is the dead of summer, and it's not even that hot up here. So here's a good amount of water damage. That hole is causing this green spot in the floor. This is sinking in. Yeah, it's very soggy. It's crazy how like this one spot will happen and then it spreads throughout the entire house once like water starts to infiltrate the place. That's pretty bad water damage. Wow. Old ceramic tile around the fireplace. So this is the access to the balcony, but I don't trust walking out there, to be honest. And this house is really falling apart, judging from what it looks like out front. So I see this in old houses quite a bit. Between the rooms, rather than in the rooms, there's a wardrobe. So this is the most run-down room of the house so far. There's another balcony out to the side of the house. A little corridor that leads from room to room. I wonder what these sirens is all about. Is that for me? Nope. That's for a funeral that's happening. So there's a funeral right across the street. At first I thought that siren was for me. Another bathroom off of this room. Also, Deb, wherever you are loved. All right, I know I said I wasn't gonna step out on the balcony, but it's too much to resist. I gotta do it, guys. Look how it's just sagging. God, this house is it's so gone. It's really sad. Love this ornate woodwork on the rails with these huge columns. Very cool stuff. Okay, I think we've pretty much covered this entire house. Okay, before I leave, I have got to see where he buried Alan. Oh my God. The red bricks. They're still there. Some of them seem like they were from the wall on the porch, but some of these are the original red bricks Alan was buried underneath. My God, could you imagine? This is insanity. Just being able to get up every day and knowing he's buried underneath the porch of your home, knowing that you murdered him. Out of sight, out of mind. It's just insanity. "17 years after his murder, Alan was finally put to rest at Rosemont Cemetery in Uniontown, Alabama. Jason Lucy still resides in Alabama to this day.